So good afternoon all. My name is Rajiv Mahto. I am a PhD student at Manu at the Lucknow campus. My paper is Declining Multilingual Capabilities Among Jharkhand Youth. This research was conducted in rural Jharkhand in the middle schools in three districts in Giridih, Jamtara and Jharkhand. So first I would like to give some demographical facts about Jharkhand. Uh, It came to existence in the national map in the year 2000, and prior to that, it was with Bihar. So, due to that, it had Hindi as the official language. However, uh, Jharkhand has 32 primitive tribal groups. So, 32 distinctive indigenous languages. And these languages belong to Austroasiatic, Dravidian, and Indo-Aryan families. Some examples from Austroasiatic languages are here. Similarly, in Dravid, we have Kuduk and Kisan, which the keynote speaker today was talking about from Japan. And in Indo-Aryan, we have Kurmali, which is again a questionable classification, which linguists have several times put their doubts on. So official language at the moment is Hindi, and second official language is Urdu. Hindi is mother tongue to nobody in Jharkhand. Urdu is mother tongue to nobody in Jharkhand. The 32 languages that I just talked about, these are the mother tongues. However, Hindi and Urdu could be the home languages of the people who are living in an urban setup. Uh, this is my research design. The present paper that I'm presenting is one part of my overall PhD program. So the entire research design was like this. However, for this paper, we used this one, survey-based questionnaire, formal and informal interviews, and some video recordings of the classroom proceedings. So our total sample includes 1,000 plus respondents from the classroom in these three districts from class 6 to class 8. We focused on the middle schools only. So here is one analysis I'm presenting just as a sample. Uh, this is from class 8, middle school Madang Jahir Sonwa in Sonwa block in West Singhbum district, where we see majority of the students are trilinguals. 21 out of 53 students are trilinguals, and these are their combinations of language: Ho Hindi Odia, Ho Hindi Kurmali, Odia Kurmali, and likewise. Odia that is mentioned here is a hybrid kind of Odia. This is not the Odia which is spoken in Cuttack or Bhubaneswar. This is primarily basing on Kurmali, and this Odia and the Odia from Odisha are not absolutely mutually intelligible. Uh, Similarly, there were students who could speak 4 languages, and these were the various combinations, and there were 9 such students who could speak 4 languages. However, we did not notice a single monolingual in this class of 53. In the same class, at the grandparents' generation, we have these figures. The trilinguals were 10, and these were the combinations and these were the numbers. Bilinguals were 13, Ho, Hindi, Ho, Odia, and likewise. Odia is being mentioned here time and again along with Hindi because Odia is the language of wider communication in this area. So a person, a tribal from Ho community or Santhali community is equally equipped to talk in Odia as well. But this is not the Odia that is spoken in the capitals of Odisha. Uh, the multilinguals who had more than 4 languages with them were many. So out of the 53 samples we collected in the classroom and interviewed, 21 turned out to be with more than 4 languages. And there were 2 people who had maximum number of languages known, and that was 7. And those languages were Ho, Santhali, Kurmali, Bhumij, Odia, Bangla. This Bangla is again not the kind of Bangla that is spoken in Kolkata. This is a fishery community which resides in Jharkhand, and they speak a variety, we can say a variety of Bangla. So there were 2 such people who had 7 languages with them. So similarly, we compared this kind of we conducted this kind of survey in all the 3 districts where we went to, and these are the figures we returned with. Interestingly, the grandparents are the ones which have higher number of languages, which is 12%, and this percentage is declining in the parents generation, the people, the respondents who are parents at the moment, and this is further declining to 2% to the students, who the school going students, who are our primary respondents in the classroom. So this is something that drew our attention to conduct this survey and go beyond it. So our research question was, is the present generation less equipped in terms of number of languages? So this is what we tried to explore, and we went into 2 semantic domains of number system and body parts. So in number system, we saw that Ho has its own indigenous counting system, which is not in use in a big way, the way it should be. And the counting system is like Miet, Ria, Pa, Pun, Mone, Tur, Ie, Ril, Rea, Gel. This is 1 to 10. And then Gel Miet, Gel Barie, Gel Pa, and so on for 11, 12, and 13. However, there is a pattern after 40. 40, uh, 40 is called Hissi. 20 is called Hissi, and Bar Hissi is double Hissi, which is 40. So 41 is Bar Hissi, means 2 times 20 and 1. Miat is 1. You can see here. So likewise, it goes into the multiples of that. So similar trend is noticed in Kurmali as well, where Ona, Dona, Tena, Chara, Macha, Jhej, Gai, Athai, No, Chiram. These are 1 to 10. And 20 onwards, it goes into the multiples of 20s. Like 20 is called Onakhondi, means Ek Khondi. Okay. And 30 is Onakhondi Siram, means Onakhondi plus 10. 40 is Donakhondi. And 50 is Donakhondi plus 10, that is Siram, Donakhondi Siram. 60 would be Tenakhondi, and 70 would be Tenakhondi Siram, likewise. However, in the present day, these kind of counting is not in place with people. They have picked it from the Indo-Aryan languages after the education system penetrated in these regions, and the counting system has become like this: Ekhondi Ek to mean 21 in place of Onakhondi Ona. Sorry for the typing error here. Ekhondi Dui, that is Onakhondi Dona, and likewise. So for 20 it is Ekhondi, for 30 it is Ekhondi Dos, for 40 it is Dui Khondi, and likewise. What is to be noted here is that Khondi remained, Khondi remained despite of this numerical prefixal and suffixal changes. Khondi remained. Khondi remained because it was a unit for counting paddy collection. So you see this image here, this is called pi, and this is a measurement for collecting paddy. So Khondi is 20 times. So 20 is denoted by Khondi and receives a numerical prefix after each cycle of 20. So the produce from a particular field or farm for a cluster of fields can amount to, for example, 17 Khondi. So suppose I have a deal with my tenants that they will give me 17 Khondi of the produce and rest they will keep. So 17 Khondi would mean 20 multiplied by 17, that is 340. This figure is complemented by the measuring unit, normally a pot-like structure, which is pi or bati. This is called pi or bati. With the measuring pi, the produce would be counted 340 times, which will be 340 kilograms or more depending upon its size. We reported this earlier this year. So this can be of 1 kg or 1250 grams or 1.5 kg also, or 2 kg also. During our survey, we came across certain aspects and certain nouns which are losing their space. So in Kurmali, we found that people had names to their fingers, and the little finger is named as Kani, the ring finger is Mani, middle finger is Ria, index finger is Repo, and the thumb is Tepo. So these were the names of fingers in Kurmali. So we decided to include it in our survey, and we checked it with the school students first. And 65% of them were aware of Tepo, which in Hindi had Angutha. So Tepo they were aware of because Tepo is part of the regular idiomatic expression, and Tepo means null. There are several such expressions, and that's how they were equipped with it. And they also knew about Kani. However, the other three fingers they had no clue about at all. Same thing we tested with the grandparents' generation, 18 of them, and all of them were new about Tepo. Some of them knew about Repo also. And the reason we asked how do you know it? So they say they sound similar and they exist in idiomatic expressions together. Like while counting money or while testing something softness, we say Tepo Repo together. So similar kind of expression or explanation was given for Kani and Mani as well. We also noticed that there are certain nouns which have lost its place to the terms, the root forms from Indo-Aryan languages, like Niyai in Kurmali means fight, which has been replaced by Jhagada from Hindi, and it is pronounced as Jhogada. Similarly, there are some other examples here. I would like to draw your attention to these. These are some proper nouns which were with the male and female in the generation which were grandparents a decade ago. So names like this Bhogo, Bhondo, Haga, Mongi, Dhundi, Minko, Budhni, Budgi, these names have become obsolete now. So in our survey, we came across around 50 such nouns from the semantic domain of body, as well as proper noun and common noun and all. This is about the nouns. About the verbs, what we noticed that the speakers had a trend, particularly the schoolgoers and the ones which are educated and are parents now. They are using root from Hindi and using the tam marking from the mother tongue and using expression like bheji debe, where bheji is to send and the word for to send is pathai. So the actual expression is pathai debe. Similarly, giri galon to indicate that somebody fell down. So to khosi is the word for falling, and the actual expression should be khosi galon. So these are the same trend we found in Ho and Santhali also. Like you can see in number 4, Batija Hiju Taikana. Batija is actually Bhatija from Hindi, and it has replaced Putra. So the actual sentence should be Putra Hiju Taikana. In number 5 also you can see the verb kat actually is Hane. The actual expression should be Hane Tana, and it has become Katotana. Kat, the Indo-Aryan root has come here. In 6, Koa Hondo Kui Honte Lombagia. Koa Hondo Kui Honte Lombagia. Lomba is actually Lamba from Hindi, and actually it should be, in place of Lomba, it should be Usul. Koa Hondo Kui Honte Usul Gia. This would mean the boy is taller than the girl. We see similar language shift in Santhali also. In number 7, we can see Darwaja Okoy Khulaul Keda. Darwaja is actually Hindi. The actual word for it in Santhali is Duer. And Khulaul, it is actually not an expression from Santhali because they do not have aspiration in their consonants. This is directly borrowed from Hindi. And the actual word for this is Jik. So the actual sentence should be Duer Okoy Jik Keda. Who opened the door? So these are our findings and conclusions. We identify that there is not a single monolingual in Kurmali. The speech community, which is called Kurmi, and their language is Kurmali, they do not have a single monolingual in that language. However, they may exist, there can be a monolingual, but that monolingual will be in Hindi. Majority of them are in the urban scenario where they go to an English medium school or Hindi medium school, or and they have home language also Hindi, and they have uh, moved away from their mother tongue. Same is applicable to Ho and Santali as well. And the primary reason we identify for this phenomena is that the education is in Hindi, not in their mother tongue, and lack of opportunities in their mother tongue. The generation which currently is grandparent and or parent have competency in more number of languages than the current school going generation. The lost nouns, the verbs, they are inching towards moribundity. These are suggestive of language shift. The Kurmi speech community, I haven't talked about it in my slides yet, but this is one of our findings. In the regions of Giridih and Jamtara, the Kurmi speech community report Khota as their mother tongue. However, the Kurmi as a tribe, their language is Kurmali. So they're not reporting Kurmali is an alarming situation. These are some pictures from our field study. Uh, the CBPS report in 2015, Center for Budget and Policy Studies report in 2015 reported 72 sanctioned posts for the language Ho in Jharkhand, and only 2 were in place. And this person is one of them. I had a good fortune of meeting him. These are some of my informants. Here are my references. I'm open to questions and and observations now.
Thank you, Rajiv, for a very interesting discussion. I just wanted to inform you that the government of Jharkhand had considered some additional official languages.
Yes, sir. 15 of them. 15 of them.
Yes, yeah. I mean, in fact, that made a big news because
Yes.
it's very vast and inclusive in nature. So therefore, saying that only Hindi and Urdu are there, would it not be inappropriate? And would it not be too early to respond to the situation? Because it's a new state and that will take some time before the impact of additional official languages will really become meaningful.
Sir, that happened. That started happening, including co-official languages from 2015 onwards, and like Santhali has been a scheduled languages from year 2003 itself. However, the problem is there is not a single text available in Santhali language yet. There are no mother tongue based school education yet. So this is why I see that as a problem. Of course, I agree with you that it would be too early to comment on
Yes,
that.
I will request you, Dr. Rajiv, I'll request you to also see some recent works that have happened in different institutions, one of which is the National Translation Mission, which is working on Santhali also. We pronounce Santhali, but the word should be Santali. So
Santhali.
NTM also works on Santali, and some works are underway, some works have come out. I think you'll have to patiently wait for say 5 to 10 years more, and there would be a lot of materials. Okay.
That is there. In fact, I showed some pictures where schools' name were written in Olchiki. For example, these ones. They have started writing it in Olchiki. Marangchiti for Ho is also there, but it's not in use as yet. Here we see it's written like this, but in the school textbooks, it is not there as yet. So that is how, that is where I raise my doubts, and I tried to probe. Yeah.
Rajiv, I have add on for you that you can
Yeah,
enrich
please,
your
please.
study further. In St. Xavier College, Ranchi, it is by central government and state government. It's a great, huge project is going on. It is about the documentation of all the languages. So I think you can contact those people who are working, and I think they have already published some things, some in the volumes of books. So you can contact Sanjeev College Ranchi, and they are doing
Sure.
voluminous work, and
Thank you. Thank you.
dozen of linguists they are working in this area to for documentation of those languages. So just I felt that to give you a suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice presentation.
Great.
Thank you.